Man in the Iron Mask. Imagine you're such a problematic individual that France literally puts you in a mask. Forever. That's main character energy, right there. The man in the Iron Mask was the OG doesn't show his face influencer, except his version was way less Instagram aesthetic and way more can't breathe, help. Locked up by order of King Louis XIV, this mystery prisoner was forced to wear a black velvet mask, later mythologized as iron, because apparently everything gets upgraded in the retelling. For 34 years, this guy was the subject of national gossip, courtiers whispering at Versailles, Voltaire writing hot takes, and entire generations overanalyzing what he did to deserve 17,000 days of quarantine. Was he the king's secret twin? Was it just Louis being super extra about imprisoning some random official? Alexander Dumas even wrote fanfic about him, literally, the man in the Iron Mask, and people have been spiraling ever since. The most awkward dinner party question in all of France is still, so, who was he? To this day, even historians can't agree. Moral of the story: sometimes history's most interesting people are the ones who literally kept their mouths shut and their faces hidden. Jack the Ripper. Welcome to Victorian-era London. Foggy, grimy, and genuinely terrified of a mystery dude murdering people at night. Jack the Ripper was basically the original true crime podcast, except if your podcast actually killed people, then dipped. Back in 1888, this unidentified guy, or plot twist, gal, never say never, slaughtered at least 5 women in the Whitechapel district, and then just evaporated into thin air. No emails, no TikTok confession, just mayhem and legend. Over 100 suspects have been tossed around over the years. The royal family, disgruntled butlers, fishmongers, basically anyone with a slightly spooky energy. Fun fact, the media frenzy even invented profiling criminals as a thing, because everyone wanted to play detective from the comfort of their germ-ridden apartments. Edgar Allan Poe would have been obsessed. As Sherlock Holmes, okay, not real, but vibes, said, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must still be confusing. And honestly, that's the Jack the Ripper legacy. Everyone's still guessing conspiracy theory. YouTube channels are thriving, and he's still the main character of London's scariest ghost tour. Count of Saint Germain. Picture the sort of guy who shows up at a party, speaks 7 languages, plays every instrument, never eats in public, and, claims to have been alive since the time of Jesus. Age is just a number, he probably said, and everyone just nervously giggled. The Count of Saint-Germain was the 18th century embodiment of the meme. Is he a vampire, or just really good at skincare? This guy charmed royalty across Europe, from France to England to Russia, dazzling them with stories of ancient battles he'd totally witnessed. Was he a genius, a spy, an alchemist, or just chronically unserious? No one knows. People legit believed he had mastered immortality, discovered the Philosopher's Stone, and hung out with Cleopatra. Despite never being caught eating or aging, he kept dropping flexes like, remember the Council of Nicaea? Good times. Funniest part, he was once described as a man who knows everything and never dies. Goals, honestly. His real origins, still a mystery. All we know is he left a permanent seat open at every table, just in case he waltzed in again. Kasper Hauser. Kasper Hauser literally spawned every feral child trope before TikTok had a name for it. In 1828, a teenage boy appeared in Nuremberg, Germany, with toddler-level social skills and a mysterious note in hand, claiming he'd spent his entire childhood locked in a dark cell, like literal dungeon crawler origin story. He quickly became a celebrity, the weirdly tragic kind, because his existence begged all the big questions. Was he lost royalty, the secret heir of some fallen dynasty, or just a meticulously gaslit orphan? Kasper was probed by scientists, nobles, socialites, and local girls who were like, well, he's mysterious. But thriller plot twist, just 5 years later, in 1833, he died under super sus circumstances, stabbed in the heart during what he said was a mugging. But the vibe screamed cover-up, or he knew too much. Even philosopher Georg Hegel got involved, muttering, "Nothing great in the world has been accomplished without passion. To know Kasper is to spiral." Was he Europe's saddest hoax, or a pawn in a royal conspiracy? No one solved it, so go off and overthink for yourself. Circleville letter writer. Circleville, Ohio, home of cornfields, a pumpkin festival, and starting in 1976, the creepiest pen pal of all time. The Circleville letter writer. Really? Misunderstood, Dear Abby. Instead of advice, they spammed anonymous letters across town with threats, tea, and blackmail. This went on for 2 decades. 2. Not even student loans last that long. The letters knew everyone's business, affairs, secrets, the kind of stuff you confess to a therapist. Only Circleville's therapist was just this anonymous chronic oversharer. They ruined marriages, sparked feuds, and got so under everyone's skin that people started suspecting each other. One local guy wound up in jail for attempted murder, with a booby-trapped gun, no less. But, plot twist, the letters kept coming from his cell. Was he working with an accomplice? Was it actually grandma? Trust issues became a family tradition. To this day, no one knows who the Circleville letter writer is, meaning every Circleville barbecue ends with someone scanning their potato salad for clues. Jerome of Sandy Cove. You wash up on a Canadian beach, both legs gone. Can't or won't explain where you're from. Welcome to being the main character in the world's saddest game of Clue. Jerome of Sandy Cove appeared in Nova Scotia in 1863, mumbling some French, looking like the final boss in a Gothic novel. Locals, being delightfully Canadian, adopted him, tried their best with, "Who are you, eh?" and gave him the ultimate vibe check. If you could be from anywhere, where is it and why? Jerome literally never answered, not once. People theorized he was a pirate, a soldier, a criminal cast adrift, or maybe just an epic introvert taking social distancing to the next level. He survived on bread, water, and mystery alone until his death in 1912. The press, knowing a good mystery when they saw one, turned him into the town's living legend. Even the government failed to ID him, proving sometimes the best secrets are just, "I'm not telling." At this point, he's the proto-meme for that mysterious guy in your friend group. Nicolas Flamel. Name a more iconic duo than French scrivener and possible immortal alchemist. I'll wait. Nicolas Flamel was a 14th century Parisian scribe who somehow got rebranded over hundreds of years into that guy who found the Philosopher's Stone. Looking at you, Harry Potter fans, and allegedly never died. IRL, Flamel was just really good at bookkeeping, real estate, and philanthropy. Then the myth machine kicked in around the 17th century, and suddenly Flamel was a cross between Dumbledore and Elon Musk, but chiller. They say he unlocked alchemy, turning lead into gold, finding the elixir of life and popping up in art and literature everywhere. He made the Philosopher's Stone, so he has to be immortal, right? Sort of like that friend who never seems to get hangovers. Of course, medieval Paris didn't have LinkedIn, so fact-checking is rough. But if you see a French guy with ageless skin buying property, he's either using a filter or he's Nicolas Flamel, maybe both. Dandara dos Palmares. Let's get real. Most history textbooks ghost women, especially black women. Enter Dandara dos Palmares, the warrior queen who fought for black liberation in 17th century Brazil. But somehow, history takes We don't know much to mythic extremes. Dandara was Zumbi's right-hand ride or die at the legendary Dandara dos Palmares, a fortress of escaped slaves so cool it lasted a century against the Portuguese. That's 10 times longer than most influencer careers. Details about her life? Spotty at best. She's like a legend built in Google Docs that someone forgot to save. Some say she was a military strategist. Others imagine her as the ultimate warrior, fearless and defiant. Her ending, resisting recapture, choosing defiant self-emancipation over being enslaved again. Today she's a symbol, the spirit of resistance, black feminism, and the literal definition of main character aura. As Angela Davis said, walls turned sideways are bridges. Dandara is the bridge no one could demolish, no matter how hard they tried. History's greatest unknowns, masked, silent, dangerous, fabulous, or fighting for a future they'd never see. Whether the truth is spoiled forever or just waiting to be DM'd, they all remind us that some mysteries are too epic to ever get solved. Found this video interesting? Leave us a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Let us know what we should cover next in the comments below.